Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wonder of Anime podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and I know you're probably shocked to see this episode come across your subscription timeline wherever you listen to your podcast, but I am so happy to be back. I am so excited to be recording this episode, and we're going to get into everything. But first of all, let me just say shout out to you guys who have been subscribed, who are still subscribed, even though I haven't been uploading episodes. Y'all are the real MVP. The supporters of the podcast are always so much fun and always engaged in the conversation. So I'm so glad that you guys are still here. And we're just going to get into everything this episode. As you guys probably have noticed, I have not uploaded a podcast episode since October of 2024. And if you know, last year I brought the podcast back after it had been on hiatus for some time, maybe like a year, in a whole new format where I had amazing guests, content creators and industry professionals joining me to talk about their favorite anime. And I have to say, those are some of my best episodes in the entire run of the podcast. And, you know, aside from some other interviews that I've done, but those episodes were a lot of fun to make, a lot of fun to get with people and learn about new anime and, you know, really get into the wonder of anime and what about these shows we like so much. And I've had so much fun putting together that season of the podcast. When I returned for the second part of it in October, I had hoped to book more guests, and there was just a lot going on at the end of the year. And I'll be honest, booking guests is not my favorite part, the like admin stuff behind it. Like I love having guests on and I love being able to invite people on, but like the coordination and the scheduling and, you know, I work full time. I'm a full-time mom. I'm a wife. Like all that stuff is just getting to a lot. So I had decided to just put the podcast on the back burner and focus on the things that were easier for me to do because it didn't kind of require other people, my website and my YouTube channel. And those things I feel like are flourishing right now. The website has grown so much in these past 10 years since I've had the domain. It's been incredible. And my YouTube channel as well. I'm so close to my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And I've really been putting in a lot of work on those venues and, you know, focusing less on like the reels and the social media aspect of it and putting the podcast on a back burner for a bit. That really helped, you know, focus my energy and cultivate what I got going on over there. But I miss the podcast. I miss yapping. I miss talking. And something that I know that I do and other people, probably content creators or people that are creative, like sometimes we make stipulations like, oh, I need to have a guest to have a podcast. I need to do this. Listen, I built this podcast break by break by myself. I used to just yap on this mic alone, no guests, for like 2 seasons before I started interviewing people. And I was like, I'm bringing that back. I'm bringing that back because I do want to do more episodes like the ones I did last season, The Wonder of Blank Anime, and explore those anime with guests. But I also just want to talk about anime. I want to talk about what I'm watching. And I was like, it's time. It's time to bring it back. So here I am. And I'm very excited to be back. I'm very excited to talk about the anime that we're going to be talking about. I have a couple different plans, which I will get into in a second, on the different types of episodes that I will be doing moving forward. So we'll get into that. But before that, I did want to give, you know, like I said, my blog is doing well. My YouTube channel is doing well. And I also want to shout out that, you know, I've been out here with my head down, minding my business. But some people was minding my business, and I was picked to be a judge for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards this year. I, like, insert clapping or insert, like, the air horn. How does the air horn? I'm like, burr, burr, burr. Imagine that's an air horn sound. But, yeah, like, if you know me, you know how important this was to me. This is something that I had been wanting for years. Back when they had a nomination process. And this year, they did not have a nomination process. They reached out and invited me to be a judge. And that meant a lot to me because, like I said, I've been steady working my presence online, cultivating relationships in person and online with, you know, professionals in the industry, on the press side of things, as well as, like, the reviewer scene with manga and anime and news and all that stuff. So I've been working, and it felt really good to have, you know, be noticed in that way and honored in a sense. So I'm so grateful and I'm so excited for that. That's pretty much it. Like, I have been working on stuff. I do a lot of reviews, and I've been focusing on my YouTube channel, doing a new series called Danmei Fridays, where I'm reading a Danmei every I have a video every week. I have actually had to finish the one series that I'm talking about. But yeah, it's been really good. I think sometimes the content creator, and if you're watching the video, I keep putting quotes around content creator, because I really don't like what that has become in recent times. Whereas, like, when I first started, I feel like it meant something different. But it's, like, the best way to describe everything that I do, because I do the podcast, I write, I make videos, I host, you know, MC and all that stuff. But all this to say, like, I find that with the, you know, like, when you're doing the content creation portion of it, a lot of content nowadays is, like, the promoing of the content, and you got to do the TikToks and the reels and the shorts. And I find that sometimes focusing on all that, like, it's just too much. So I cut out all that noise, and I decided I'm focusing on my podcast. Now I'm bringing the podcast back, but I'm focusing on my YouTube channel. I'm focusing on my reviews. And, you know, I'll make a post sharing, like, oh, I wrote this thing, but that's it. I feel like the promoing and the always trying to get people to see your things, which, if you, like, understand social media, those platforms don't want you to leave them. So, like, you're on TikTok promoting a YouTube video. How many people are going to leave and go to the YouTube video? Like, it doesn't happen that way. So anyways, I took all that stress off, and it's been paying off. It's been paying off, focusing in my lanes. So yeah. So let's get into the podcast. So like I said, I definitely plan on in the future having more The Wonder of Blank anime episodes, where I invite a guest from the anime industry to come on and talk about their favorite anime. Those are not going anywhere. I also have some deep dive episodes planned, which kind of was actually the original, like, plan for that series, where I will be deep diving into a certain anime in audio format. So that will be coming soon. But what today's episode will be, and what you can expect on a weekly basis for the next 12 or so weeks, is that I am doing a spring anime watch list, where I am watching different anime each week. And not different anime. I'm watching anime each week from the spring 2025 season and talking about it. And sometimes I may do a episode on a single episode, like an episode of the podcast on one single anime episode with a guest. Some friends I've tapped in and told them about this. But what I will be doing in this episode, and most likely for most episodes, is I'm going to just go through my list of what I watched this week, and we're going to talk about it episode by episode. I am so excited to do this because I've always wanted to do this, and sometimes I'm just not watching enough stuff, or I'm watching things that aren't airing, and, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I don't know what, like, there was just a lot of good titles this season that I'm like, I'm like checking out. I want to talk about this, and this doesn't mean like I'm going to carry on each episode the entire season. Like, sometimes I let them go. Last year, I did a version of this on my reels on Instagram, and I shared it on YouTube too, where I was talking about Train to the End of the World, Windbreaker, the fishing one, Negative Positive Angler. I didn't finish that anime though, but I was making little reels videos every week. So this is kind of just the combination of that, and I'm going to be talking about different anime, the episodes that I watched. So if you are listening and you either want to avoid spoilers, or you want to, like, see what anime I talked about at what time, look at the description box of either the YouTube video or the podcast app that you're on. I'm going to put timestamps for every show that I talk about. And like I said, this don't mean I'm gonna be watching this every single week, in the sense of, like, you know, I may drop some of these, like, they started off really good, but, you know, who knows what, like, where it's gonna go. So usually what I do for, and you'll see this if you follow me, if you follow me elsewhere, you better be following me in all other places. But at the beginning of, like, right before the spring anime season starts, the anime streamers send out a press release with the anime that will be airing. So Crunchyroll, High Dive, Netflix, you know, they're sending these things out. And as I'm making my posts for my website and social media with those anime, I compile my own list because it usually includes like a trailer, a little synopsis, and I'm like, okay, like this is what I will be watching. So these were all on my list from that information that I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be checking out. So the first one that we're going to start with is from High Dive, and it is Rock is a Lady's Modesty. Rock is a Lady's Modesty is currently airing on High Dive, and it is about an elite girls' academy where refined young ladies gather. Lalisa Suzunomiya is now the daughter of a real estate tycoon after her mother remarries and is forced to abandon her guitar and rock music to fit in. However, her passion is reignited by sounds from the old school building where she meets a skilled drummer who shares her love for rock. Together, they embrace their inner rock stars, elegantly clashing and shouting their way through the academy in this captivating tale of grace and rebellion. I read that and I saw the trailer and I was still shook at that first episode. I guess like in my head, I made up my own narrative of what I thought that the show was going to be about. And immediately I was like, oh, actually, oh no. So you have Lalisa, who I already love. And obviously Lisa, like, oh, we're here. So, she's trying to fit into this school. And it's one thing that I love when anime do is when they are like real up with the gags and they're playing up people's inner monologues and they're playing up like the subversion of expectations and all that. So we see like Lalisa like answer her classmates like, oh, what do you listen to? And she's like, oh, insert some classical music thing. And in her head, she's like, oh my God, thank God. I just listened to that last night. They're not going to discover that I'm a fraud. And she has like this whole inner monologue that is showcasing her real personality that is trying really hard to fit in and to be like, elite. So people can't tell that she's like faking it and that she is just like flying by the seat of her pants. So that to me, immediately I was sold because I'm like, yes, bring on the gags, bring on the inner monologues and this whole like I'm pretending to be someone else in person. And then we see her classmate who is visually the opposite of her. Lalisa has like pigtails that are blonde. She kind of looks like the girl from Kaiju number 8. I'm so sorry I can't remember your name, but I love you. You were one of my faves. And then we have Kurogane, who has the long black hair with the bangs, and everyone loves her. And oh my God, this little princess. And then when they discover, like, oh, you're in rock music and you're doing this thing, the chemistry is through the roof with these two. And the whole setup of how Lalisa finds the pick and she's just like, oh my God, this could never be Kurogane's pick. Like she just, we're in this school, we're in this academy. And she's like, but what if this is her pick? I think she's almost hoping that it was going to be her pick. So and the episode ends on them meeting in that like old abandoned building and Kurogane basically like bullying Lalisa to be like, oh, yeah, right, like you suck. Of course you don't want to play guitar, like, yeah, whatever. And you're not up for the challenge. And then Lisa's like, bitch, what? And rocks out. And I just thought it was so cool. I loved it. I love the flashbacks that we see that it's either like Lisa's father or someone in her life that, she grew up playing rock music. And I'm excited to see where this goes. This was definitely one where I was like shook. I didn't think I wasn't going to like it, but sometimes, some of these premises, sometimes we hit or miss, but so far in this first episode, the lead up was great. So that, I will go on to episode 2. Next up on my watch list was Witch Watch, which already it feels so hard to say. Witch Watch. And I have been interested in Witch Watch because they have been doing a lot of promo. They had a special movie theater event where they were showing the first 3 episodes in movie theaters, and I did want to go and watch it, but they just like weren't playing it near me, and I was like, I'm not gonna go an hour somewhere to watch. Like, there wasn't that, like, I was like not that captivated that I was gonna do that. But Witch Watch is It's about Morihito Togi, a high school student who comes from a lineage of ogres, enjoys a peaceful, ordinary life until his childhood friend Nico moves in with him. Nico is a witch in training and chooses Morihito to be her familiar. While Nico is thrilled to reunite with her old friend and crush, Morihito is tasked with the perilous duty to protect her from a foretold calamity. Between the unpredictable chaos caused by Nico's magic and the awkwardness of sharing a home, their lives become a whirlwind of supernatural hijinks and threats. So I was a little apprehensive about Witch Watch because the promos and stuff is very like rom-com, like skewing, like, you know, they're promoting it as a rom-com, but it is written by a man and it is a shonen. It is not a shoujo. And if you know, you know, like rom-coms from the perspective of men are very hit or miss. For me specifically, like I'm like, oh, a man wrote this. But I still was like, I'm going to give it a chance because I love and I will root for people in love and, you know, magic and ogres and stuff. So that being said, I really enjoyed this first episode. It was hilarious. It was so funny. And having recently watched Ranma Half, which I said recently, it was in January. I have a YouTube video coming up on it. But I was watching Ranma Half and I was also watching I can never think of the name, but it is the other series from Rumiko of with what's her name? Lumen? I don't know, but the other series, Urusei. Having recently watched those, and those are shonen, but you know, they're written from a female perspective. The antics and the gags were so freaking fun to watch. And having gone into Witch Watch and like seeing that type of feel in those gags was hilarious, was super enjoyable. And there were just so many moments in this first episode that I was cracking up, that I laughed out loud. You know, sometimes you be doing a little laughter. You're like, laugh to yourself. No, I was laughing out loud. It was good. It was good. And, you know, of course, I'm a shipper. So I'm like, Nico and Morihito, like, hearts. I love it. And Nico being excited to, like, ship herself with Morihito, too, and, like, shooting hearts at him was just so good. And the part in the episode with the, like, lighthearted spell, and they're like, the lighthearted spell, when done to a person, makes them have a lighthearted attitude. And everybody was acting crazy. Like, oh my god, it was just so fun. It was so fun. It was such a good first episode. I am excited to continue this one. I'm really glad that I gave it a chance, even though I had my reservations, because man, which honestly everyone should have reservations because men. So, you know, that was that. But it was actually really fun and really enjoyable. The next anime that I watched is called ZatsuTabi, and I don't even know if I didn't even put it on my Annie list yet. So let me do that right now. So it's called ZatsuTabi, That's Journey. When an aspiring manga artist, Chika's storyboards get rejected, she ditches her desk for an adventure. Armed with a quirky social media poll, she sets off on a spontaneous journey of random crowdsourced destinations. From hilarious mishaps to heartwarming encounters, Chika discovers inspiration, friendship, and herself, one unpredictable stop at a time. So this is based on the real-life travels of mangaka Chika Suzugamori. Oh, I didn't know that. That is very interesting. It is adapted from... Is this the manga? Oh, yeah, it's adapted from a manga. And that was nominated for the Sugi Manga 2020 award in the manga category. That is cool. So I checked this out on a whim because when I was making my graphic for this second week of anime, I saw it on there and I was like, oh, this is cute. And it was cute. It was very adorable. There are some scenes where it looks like it's a photo and they drew her on the photo. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm like, I can't, like, it's drawn so realistically. I'm like, this has to be a real photo that they animated on top of. But it was wonderful. It definitely, I feel like, feels like a little travel, like, brochure, like visit these you know, not touristy areas in Japan. But it was just, I love it. Like, she's an 18-year-old girl. She's like, I'm gonna go on this adventure. And it was something different. Like, it felt really refreshing. It felt really just like peaceful watching it. It is slice of life, and it felt that. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good first episode. And this little adventure that she sets herself up on. And what I appreciated was that it had the, like, stakes. It didn't really have high stakes, I should say. Like, I kind of was like, oh my God, is she going to miss the train? Is she not going to be able to reserve a room? And she was fine. Like, so I'm like, okay, then I don't need to invest that much, like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen to her. It just seems like you're along for the ride with her. And it was really enjoyable. And I love, you know, these are real places that she's visiting, and like real, like, stories behind it, and you're getting that information on the stops that she's on, like the cultural history or the relevance or the traditions around, like, the shrine that she visited and the steps that she climbed and what that importance was. So if you're someone who likes learning about Japan that way, I think this is going to be that type of anime moving forward. And it looks like she's going to meet up with some other people and go to different places. So I really like this one. I thought it was cute, and I will be watching the next episode. The next anime on my list was one that I had on my plans list, and maybe I added it like a year or two ago when it was announced, and I completely forgot about it. And then I saw the trailer, and I went to add it to my planned list, and I was like, girl, you already got this on here. And that is Kowloon Generic Romance. Welcome to Kowloon Walled City, a dystopian townscape where the people are brimming with nostalgia and where the past, present, and future converge. Amid the hidden emotions and extraordinary daily lives of men and women working in its confines, a tale of romance begins to unfold for real estate agent Reiko Kujirai, one that feels familiar as Kowloon itself. So that synopsis on AniList actually comes from the manga that is currently being published by Yen Press, but the synopsis that Crunchyroll provided was a little bit different. And the synopsis said that Reiko is falling in love with her coworker, and then she discovers that his ex-girlfriend looks just like her, and it possibly is her. So that synopsis, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. And I immediately was like, oh, I need to watch this. And that anime, actually, and watching that trailer was like, oh yeah, I need to bring the podcast back so I can talk about this. So I can talk about this, and I can talk about this with people. So I saw the first episode, and I try my best to stay away from like social media, like people and like their thoughts. And unfortunately, I saw some people that like were saying that it adopted too many chapters for the manga, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ugh, I hate when I see stuff like that, because it like tries to taint my perspective of what I'm watching, which is why I also don't usually read the manga before I watch the anime. That being said, I really liked this first episode. It was really like grown and sexy and sultry and like, and not in a like, maybe not sexy, maybe more like sensual. Like, it was just this feeling like, okay, this is for grown folks. This is for grown folks here. And there was a lot of mystery, a lot of questions being like asked, you're asking, especially at the end. You're like, what the hell just happened? What the fuck did I just watch? Like, that literally was how I felt. But it was really good. I love the animation. I love the music. I love the characters so far. Reiko is just so fine, and like, I love that they're adults and they're working and they have jobs and they're doing like dates and stuff and they're drinking. Man, I don't know. It just is something about this. I had seen the manga floating around for years, and I always loved the visuals that I saw, and visually the anime is not disappointing. The story is not disappointing. I don't know, you know, there's a bunch of mysterious stuff. There's some drones in the air. There's some shops that are coming and going, and people not sticking with the stories. I don't know, but I am into it. The mystery just like adds the like, oh my God, like, it gives me chills, and I love when something gives me chills. I love when I don't know what's happening. I love when I'm like, oh, this is creepy, but in a good way, So I'm really, really excited. This is one of my like favorites so far from everything. Like, it was really good. I cannot wait to see what happens. The next anime on my list is one that I knew was going to be on here because, like, duh. It's My Hero Academia Vigilantes. And as you guys know, I love My Hero Academia. I still have to finish the last season, but I love My Hero. I am My Hero down. And I knew there was this spinoff. I knew about it, like, as it was manga and stuff, and I, like, knew that I was just gonna watch this. Like, it's in the same universe, it's an older MC, but it was really good. So, the synopsis: in the world of My Hero Academia, not everyone needs a license to fight for justice. In a superpowered society, there's nothing ordinary about evil anymore. Heroes trained and licensed to protect and defend the public against supervillains stand above all the rest. Not everyone can be a hero, however, and there are those who would use their powers to serve the people without legal sanction. But do they fight for justice in the shadows or for reasons known only to themselves? Whatever they fight for, they are called vigilantes. Koichi Himawari couldn't make the cut to become an official hero, so he uses his modest quirk to do good deeds in his spare time. Then one day, a fateful encounter with some local thugs leads him to team up with two other unlikely heroes. None of them really know what they're doing, but they got courage or foolishness to try. But they soon discover fighting evil takes more than just being brave. So, from what I know, and I think this description also comes from the manga from Viz, and the description, the synopsis from Crunchyroll is a little bit different. This takes place, and it says it in the first episode, this takes place before Deku ever goes to UA, but as the manga progresses, some of the events in the main story cross over with this. And this, like, you know, it's based off My Hero Academia, but the creator of this was one of the assistants, and, like, you know, is his own separate thing from the creator of My Hero. So it's like in the same playground, but, you know, a separate person is writing it. So I really liked the first episode. I loved Koichi. He's just so fun. I love when they're just some, like, little college student, you know, working at the convenience store, getting roughed up by thugs. Like, this just be happening. And he really, like, he's Mr. Nice Guy. Like, him, he's like, oh, I need to burn off this theme. Let me go pick up trash. Let me go take pictures for people. Let me give drunk people directions and make sure they get home safe. Like, you are Mr. Nice Guy. I feel like, as we've seen with these last few episodes of My Hero, that, not this was a few last episodes, the last couple seasons, the last 2 seasons of My Hero, with the villains arc and everything, like, there's just so many questions of the society itself and those who fall through the cracks. And I'm thinking My Hero Vigilantes is going to explore that. So I'm very excited to see where it goes. It was just enjoyable. I like that it felt like My Hero, but it also felt a little bit different. It felt a little bit more comic booky. It felt a little bit more like stylistic in a way. And I really enjoyed that. So I'm looking forward to all these. I'm not gonna lie to you. So far, all of them are on the keep list. But My Hero Vigilantes, you did not disappoint. The final anime that I will be talking about is a returning anime, and that is Windbreakers Season 2, baby. We are back. We are so back. I am so excited. I really liked Windbreakers. I love the first season, and I think I talked about this maybe in my end of the year video. You wouldn't think that I would like Windbreakers because it's like fighting. I don't like fighting, but the Booferin kids, like, they have endeared me, and I'm so happy that they're back. This first episode really opens up on a battle royale type of fighting, and I don't like violence, but I do like people getting their ass kicked when they deserve it. And I find that, like, this first episode is such a good job of reminding us, like, why we liked Windbreakers so much and the heart behind the fighting. You know, it's not just people getting their ass kicked. It's like, yo, like, you guys are trash. Like, Booferin is fighting to Buren. They're fighting to protect their town and their people and everyone who has heart and shit. And other people, like, y'all just being bullies. And I love that this first episode was just such a great reminder of everything that we love, the real heart that is in this series, and the growth that these characters are about to go through this season. So it opened up on such a high note. I was so excited to get my guys back, you know, so excited for them. I'm so excited to see, you know, what else is going to happen, because there's characters teased that are looking real cool and real interesting, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see the growth behind the punches. I'm excited to see the love and heart, and for Sakura to make friends and be needed, and, you know, act like a friend and act like he got some sense. And for him, you know, to work through the trauma and the stuff that he has in his past. And yeah, I really like this this first episode, swinging right off the gate, and it just made me look forward to the season. Those are all the anime that I wanted to talk about in this episode. That was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. So that was 6 different episodes. And there are, I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, this week Moonrise comes out on Netflix. That I'm interested in checking out. Lazarus, I heard, is good. I might check that out as well. Actually, I've heard some not so good things, but I don't care. Like, y'all just be online and like, bro, it's one episode. Like, how you making all these decisions and judgments off 23 minutes? Like, let him cook. Let him cook. I don't know. Let things simmer and come to a boil and figure things out in a couple of episodes. But that's a rant for another day. So yeah, that is what I'm watching this season so far. I will be back next week with my thoughts on the next episodes, but thank you guys so much for tuning back in to the Wonder of Anime podcast. I'll be back with more yapping, more episode talks, and probably whatever else I feel like doing. Because this is a reminder, you own all your shit, and you can do whatever you want. The rules are made up. The rules are made up. Upload every day if you want. Don't upload. Who cares? Talk about whatever you want to talk about. You are the creator. That was a reminder to myself and a reminder to you too. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. Be sure to take part in the conversation. Let me know what you guys are watching this season, and we'll go from there. But thank you guys. We'll see you next week.